here to talk about the economic implosion, the depression that's developing on Main Street as the banks worldwide are setting up a world monetary system. Congressman, thank you for joining us on this 17th day of October.
Nice to be with you again.
You've got the floor, sir. You're the expert on this. What are we facing right now?
Well, it looks like it's all downhill from now on because what Washington's doing is exactly wrong. They're supposed to allow adjustments to come once they realize they've messed up the economy, but instead they're just doing more of the same. I saw an article this morning that tells you how desperate they are. It was on Reuters, and a lot of this stuff is getting into Main Street now and talking about how bad these things are. But this story said that the amount that we'll inject here or have promised is over $5 trillion. And I was on CNN this morning, and I told them, I said, if that could solve the problems, I said, we would never have to work again, just print money. But obviously it doesn't solve the problem. And, even if it temporarily helps the market or calms the markets or increases the value of the dollar, it's all temporary because everything we've done for decades has been inflationary. Now, this is just excessive inflation of the money supply, and this is going to be harmful to us. We need to go back to work again, and that's the part that people don't like. They think that the government can take care of us from cradle to grave, and that we never have to worry. They always say government's going to take care of us, but they never ask, who's the government? There's a contest going on between us who believe in freedom and hard work and savings and all, and those who think that there is a free lunch. But I think we're in transition now because our numbers are growing because the people who have for so long believed the government could take care of them are starting to realize they can't trust the government. So to me, it's a bit of an opportunity for us to present our case, but it's going to be a tough struggle.
Well, you've always talked about when the crisis of the central banking fractional reserve system came to a head, and you predicted in Bastrop, Texas 4 years ago that it would happen by 2007, 2008. You were right that there would be a contest between those that want an all-powerful, omnipresent Soviet-style state, claiming that's the solution, more of what they brought us, versus true free market. And I see the media, a lot of the media trying to claim capitalism or free market did this when that's not what it is it, Congressman?
Yeah, and that's probably the most detrimental thought that's floating around out there. But that's what happened in the Depression. That was the first initial surge toward socialism. Was they blamed the collapse of the stock market in 29 and the Depression on capitalism and the gold standard. So that's when we embarked on welfareism. Now the same thing is happening again. And even, when you hear the president, he keeps saying, well, I'm a free market person. But free markets sometimes get into trouble, and we have to bail them out. We have to help them. But whoever heard, I keep asking, where did this notion come from that freedom gets into trouble and you save freedom with socialism and dictatorial powers? I don't know why the American people buy into that. The people who philosophically are just have their minds twisted is one thing, but others, delight. And these people who delight in just gaining more power, whether it's power of the world, the natural resources of the monetary system, or our own system of government. They have no trust in the people. They just resent people individually, making up their own mind, assuming responsibility for themselves, thinking that they can do a better job than government. And yet we too often as a people accept this idea that there is a free lunch, but things are changing, and yet the opposition are laying their plans as well. That's why I fear the fact that they might come up with this idea of a one single world central bank.
Well, that's exactly what they're now proposing. For decades, we've warned people that when this monetary crisis came from their fraudulent crony system, that this would happen, and that is now being proposed. I have scores of mainstream articles in the last week where they're calling for globalization, standardization of currencies. We'll be right back with Congressman Ron Paul.